You've probably been scrolling through the internet and have ran into some weird meme involving this guy. Who the hell is he and why is he memed so much? Well, this is Nagito Komaeda from the game Danganronpa 2. Why is he so infamous? Well, he's one of the most out there characters. In fact, his existence has led to the branding of the archetype, the Komaeda character. And what is that? You see, usually in stuff you got archetypes like the bro character, who's written to be the supporting best friend to the MC. Then you also have the love interest character, and so on. Normal archetypes in a story that are easy to follow. Well, what the Komaeda archetype is a character whose sole purpose for existing in the story is to drive the main character insane. And the reason why these characters are memed so much is because their methods of fulfilling their purpose are usually bad shit motherfucking insane. So before I go on, I'm gonna put a spoiler warning for all the stuff I'll be talking about in this video, so yeah. Anyway, the Komaeda archetype. Whether it be chopping off your own hands, being super passive-aggressive via sassiness towards everyone, roasting the MC in the weirdest fucking ways every second you can, or... What even is this? So a common trait that these characters have are long white hair and slim bodies, but that isn't a requirement, it's just a strange coincidence. For this video, I'm going to be talking about different characters that fit this archetype and explain what qualifies them as a Komaeda character. Stuff like drives the main character insane, babbles on and on about really cryptic shit, asserts themselves without a care, condescends on people in strange ways, and all around tends to be extremely unpredictable with what crazy thing they're going to do next. Real quick, I'm going to go over the start of this whole thing himself, Komaeda, just to lay the foundation so you know what I'm talking about. Nagito Komaeda is Spike Chunsoft saying, what if we took the protagonist from the first game and then corrupted him? Yup, already a great start. All he does is make the protagonist of the second game, Hajime Hinata, want to fucking scream. Hajime will be this close to finding out who the killer is, and then Komaeda will be like, I set everything up, except I'm not the killer. And then proceeds to have an insane monologue for like 5 minutes straight. He does a lot more crazy shit throughout the story, stuff that has so much shock value that it just got heavily memed. So memed to the point where simply bringing up this character on the internet is usually considered cursed. Somewhere along the way, this image was birthed into existence, which brought about a whole new meme. People started shipping Komaeda and Sans for the simple reason that it was extremely cursed. The perception of the character Komaeda evolved from his in-game portrayal. Sure, he was already extreme in that, but the fan perception of him betrayed the very existence of him to be this extremely cursed being. That's when people started finding other characters that had the similar trait of drives the main character insane, and started calling them Komaeda characters just for the meme. And the existence of these other characters added to the overall character of the Komaeda archetype. Like, Komaeda's not a womanizer, but these Komaeda-like characters are. So traits from other characters kind of got all mixed into each other to create the bigger picture of the Komaeda archetype. So now that the foundation is out of the way, let's talk about these other Komaeda characters. Jumping first into the Persona series. So out of the 6 mainline games, half of them have Komaeda characters, and one of them is actually voiced by Bryce Papenbrook, Nagito's English VA. Although Jun and Akechi throw a different twist into the mix, where instead of them making the protagonist go insane, Tatsuya's and Joker's very existence makes them go crazy. So that means we're going to be talking about Ryoji then. Towards the end of Persona 3, he transfers to Gekukan High, and already he's got a strange aura about him. Like, he was a normal guy and all, but something didn't feel right, especially with Aigis being like, I don't like you. Which, yeah, she was right because he turned out to be death incarnate, but like, we didn't know that at the time. He kind of just seemed like a carefree high school junior or whatever. He had this little shtick where he was a womanizer or something. Reminds me of another character. But yeah, he didn't seem like the character to be death incarnate. Like, sure, he was a little condescending at times, but it was all in good fun. Well, he was having fun until he remembered what he really was. Which, yeah, Komaeda had that same thing where he remembered that he was a remnant of despair, and that's when he stopped giving a shit and went wild. That in turn is what drives Hajime so crazy because Nagito is doing so many things that make the cast question everything, and it spices up the story. So what Ryoji does to spice up the story and make the cast question everything is that he says that death is coming and either they could kill him and live peacefully in ignorance until spring when death will descend upon the world, or they could let him live and live every day in fear of their impending doom. This fucking throws everyone into a state of crisis. Ryoji's words are a little meta too, because it even makes the player question what truly is right. Throughout that in-game month though, the whole cast decides that they want to face the future because it's better to die fighting than just giving up. When Ryoji comes back to hear the cast's final decision, that's when things get really fucky. Since the game literally tells you that killing Ryoji and dying without trying to fight destiny is a terrible idea, it's pretty obvious that most players choose to let Ryoji live. And Ryoji was super understanding beforehand, but yeah, this is when he unhinges.
I'm the one who asked you to kill me. There's no reason for me to change my mind or offer you any resistance. As I told you before, I'll just disappear from existence. I have no desire to resist death, so there's no need for you to feel any sympathy towards me. Besides, you're the one who's shaking. I think that looking ever towards the future can be a wonderful way of living, but even so, that doesn't mean the other ways of living life are wrong. No one knows which road will lead them towards happiness. I'm not afraid. In fact, right now, I feel really happy.
I can't, Ryoji.
Like, you already feel so fucked by the situation, and then on top of that, Ryoji is super chill and calm about you giving up and dying. Which I know because he doesn't believe that you could beat Nyx, he just wants you to die happily, but it's still a really messed up scene. This moment is just so high tense, and he's heavily making Makoto, and in turn, you question if your decision is really correct or not. Which, yeah, your decision's obviously correct, but like, Ryoji does a good job at making you feel guilty for like a little while. So now that we went over Ryoji, why not cover his furry counterpart, Pina? So yeah, he's literally Ryoji, except without the whole death stuff. And also if the sassy meter was turned up to a 10. So what does Pina do to make Legosi go insane? Well, to start off, let's just say he definitely makes a first impression.
Everyone knows that the drama club's filled with weirdos. In the spring, one of your members was eaten alive. Your star actor disappeared.
Wait, hold on.
And you've got a brave wolf with battle scars. Where did a quiet guy like you get these scars from? You're definitely dangerous. I sure wouldn't want to make you angry.
Whoa, don't drag me into this. What? Come on. I'm just an ordinary animal. I'm just part of the stage crew. Don't make this complicated. You're gonna force me to take a side.
So yeah, assertive first impression? Check. And you know what Pina accomplishes to do? He drives Legosi, the king of herbivore appreciation, a man who is willing to die for the sake of herbivores. To hate herbivores for like a day. What? Admittingly, that's pretty interesting. Paru managed to write a character who was so button pushy that he caused someone with unwavering conviction to fucking wave. And you know what? Props to Pina for being able to get under the protagonist's skin. He's able to bring out a side of Legosi that we have never seen before. Sometimes it's really interesting to see a character that pushes different characters out of their comfort zones. As I mentioned in my Bill video, Pina's directness is what initially pushed Bill to rise up and become a better leader. Komaeda and Ryoji were there to push the plot in a wild way, while Pina is a bit of a different take on that. Beastars is a lot more character driven than Danganronpa 2 and Persona 3. And so even though Pina's introduction didn't create a complete turning point in the plot or anything like that, he still spurs on turning points within different characters. He made Legosi realize that, yeah, he's not gonna like every herbivore out there, but that doesn't mean that he shouldn't still protect all of them. Pina is always trying to pull Legosi out of his perfect and ideal realities, and frankly thinks that Legosi's way of going about things are stupid. Pina provides a really good opposition to our protagonist, but also one that isn't quite the role of an antagonist either. Because besides Legosi, Pina is the only other person who knows that Riz is the killer, and that's where his sassiness comes in. So immediately when he was assertive towards Legosi and was flirting with a bunch of girls, my mind immediately jumped to, wow, this is furry Ryoji. But then I noticed the way that he pushed everyone's buttons, and I also saw his design, and I was like, he's definitely a Komaeda character. But also what had me come to that conclusion was his extreme sassiness that also Joshua had. But we're not going to cover him just yet. We're still on Pina. Pina is super carefree. Well, until he gets a reality check from Riz, and ends up revealing that his assertiveness was more just an act to keep up his confidence. And that's another cool concept that was dove into because the character who was put in the story to push everyone's buttons and bring out a side of themselves that we've never seen before was pushed himself. So that's an interesting take too. Anyway, to finish off talking about Pina, let's talk about his unpredictability again. So chapter 182 came out last week, and wow, I was not expecting Pina and Riz to be friends. Pina called Riz his only male friend. Rip. But yeah, that was all pretty unexpected. I'm really curious where this friendship's gonna go. So Pina may be sassy, but how about I introduce you to the CEO of sassiness himself, Joshua. He was Komaeda 5 years before Komaeda was even a thing. His placement of the story was obviously to drive the protagonist, Neku, insane, but he takes it to a whole nother level. He fucking kills Neku just so he can test humanity or some shit, and then when he actually works with Neku, all he does is toy with him. I mean, admittedly, he does get pretty annoying at times, but like he's still very entertaining. Like, in my opinion, he's the most mindfucky out of all of these characters. But you know what? I'm getting a little too ahead of myself, so let's start from the beginning.
I guess you could call me Joshua too, seeing as how you're my dear, dear partner.
You're what? This pipsqueak is my new partner?
You seemed like such a pro at this. I just helped myself.
A pro? How could you know that?
I've been watching you, silly. Very impressive, by the way.
Yeah, great first impression. Joshua saying that he's been watching Neku. Fun. But yeah, Joshua has an unsettling aura because you know he's planning something, but you never quite know what it is. But yeah, in the Reapers game, there's a goal for the characters to complete each day. If they don't complete it, then they will be erased from existence. And Joshua just doesn't give a fuck. Neku would be like, come on Joshua, we have literally 15 minutes left to complete this task. And then Joshua will just scoff it off and say something completely unrelated. Stuff like,
Hey Neku, you should follow @Kamui Miracle on Twitter.
Joshua is just a mindfuck. Because when we first meet him, we didn't know that he was the one that was actually behind all of this, so it was pretty jarring just to see how calm he was during this deadly scenario. Also, any chance he gets, he will roast Neku. So yeah, Pina's sassiness combined with Nagito's crypticness. I fucking love this guy. There's a part in week 2 where the antagonist stops caring and just doesn't assign any goals for the people in the Reapers game, and that's when Joshua decides to be Mr. Cryptic. He brings Neku to different places around Shibuya with no explanation and does wild things also with no explanation. The more week 2 goes on, the more confusing Joshua's character becomes and the more he drives Neku, and in turn us, insane. Like throughout my first playthrough of The World Ends With You, every fucking time that Joshua spoke, I just had to shut my 3DS and just fucking think for a sec, what the hell is this guy on about? But this unpredictability is why Joshua, and honestly why the rest of these other Komaeda characters are so interesting. Because you never know what the hell they're going to do next, and it's pretty fun getting shocked every time they do something wild. And Joshua is personally my favorite Komaeda, but that's only because of all the crazy plot twists within The World Ends With You. There are so many crazy reveals having to do with him, and each time they go further and further down the hole of what the fuck. And I really couldn't tell what his true intentions were at times because he's so back and forth with who he's supporting and if the story is painting him in a positive or negative light. But even with all of this, his antics and roasting and all, Neku develops a little bit of a soft spot for Joshua and considers him a friend. But even when Neku begins to feel friendly with Joshua, Joshua still does not let up with his sassiness because that's his character no matter what. But what's also super interesting is that Joshua secretly has Neku wrapped around his finger. His master plan is that he wants to mind control all of Shibuya and take away the free will of everyone because he doesn't believe in humanity. He sometimes tries to bring out the hatred within Neku, but it doesn't really work because this whole game is actually about Neku becoming a happy person. Another reason why Joshua is such an interesting take on the Komaeda archetype is because the other characters were just oppositions, but Joshua on the other hand is full on the antagonist. And in the end, Neku gets under his skin and lets Shibuya still have its free will because he says that Neku was able to change for the better. So yeah, Joshua's confidence was breached just like Pina's. And to finish this all off, guess what? The World Ends With You was just confirmed to be getting an anime. Yes! So I hope I was able to shed a bit more light on this meme. It's pretty niche, but I've always found it fun looking into characters of this archetype, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. So to close the video off, what we know is that Komaeda characters are characters that are written in the story to make the main character go insane. But there's always a reason behind it. The main characters being pushed like they never had before, it causes them to grow and show sides that we've never seen of them before. So if you see a Komaeda character enter the story, get ready because the story is about to be really spiced up for the better. So I wanted to say thank you for all the people who voiced in this video. It was really fun putting this together, and yeah. Also, he may be cryptic, but listen to Joshua and follow my Twitter @Kamui Miracle. Also, I have a Discord server. You should stop in. We have a lot of fun with our memes there. So yeah, the Yafia video is on its way, but first, I have a little Beastars related video coming out later this week. It features Elson Wong, and also has some of my other voice acting regulars, such as Conrad, Joseph, Rasterize, Dawn, Teeth, Volpuz, etc. So yeah, I'm really excited to get it out, so I'll see you guys then.